Gonna open us up, or am I?
I mean, I guess I can. It doesn't matter. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of the Unredactable Podcast. I'm your host, Dakota, here with my two other hosts, Dakota and Ryan.
Yo.
Hello.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, the last episode got cut out early because my power went out, and I can only assume that's because the powers that be do not want us to do this podcast.
Exactly.
Don't forget that not only did your power cut out in the middle of recording the first episode, when we went to record the second episode, because we're recording this one late, God literally smited your appendix.
Absolutely. And then even whenever we went to record the first episode, all three of our computers restarted.
That is
at
very
the exact
true.
Same time.
They all needed updates. They all restarted. It was some very coordinated CIA.
You know what it
bullshit.
is? Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's George Bush.
Yeah, senior.
No. George H.W. Bush.
Nuclear.
The one that did 9/11.
Right. Got it. He did that with the pigeons, right? The pigeons that are really the Russian spies.
I've never
What?
seen
No,
a
what
pigeon.
the fuck are you talking about?
What?
Pigeons are drones.
Exactly.
Pigeons are drones. They're not Russian spies.
They're drones for the Russians.
No, they're not for the Russians. Our CIA made it. Have you ever seen a baby bird?
It's the KGB that made the drones, my friend.
It's
They
not
just
the
want you to
KGB,
think that
bro.
it's the CIA.
It's not the KGB. The CIA made birds.
The KGB controls the CIA.
The KGB doesn't control the CIA.
Oh, okay. If you say so.
Russia
Well, this is
isn't
obviously
controlling the CIA, bro.
Just a point of contention.
I mean, Putin's still in power, so meanwhile, we get presidents all the time that are not the same one over and over and over again.
That's because they don't have elections, dude.
Or
But they're supposed to.
it's because somebody's the puppet master.
Exactly.
You want to know who the real puppet master is?
Colonel Sanders.
Alien.
What? Colonel Sanders? The KFC guy?
Yes.
Oh, KFC, KGB. I see where you're going with this.
The KF console? That's actually just what they
KF
used in
console
MK Ultra.
It's the fucking most ridiculous thing that I ever have seen, and I kind of want to see if it really works. Like, I can't imagine.
Like, if it can actually play any... What if the KF console plays Cyberpunk 2077 better than the PS4 does?
It's just
That
a PC.
would be-
It's literally just a PC.
It is a PC, but it's a PC with a fucking food warmer in it, which is the exact
Yeah.
opposite of what you want to surround a PC with.
Well, maybe it's just warmed up by the PC itself.
Now, see, that's what I wanted to see, because that's actually not a bad idea. If you route all of your, if you fan and route all of your heat, all of your
Okay, y'all
thermal
clearly know
dissipation.
more about the KF console than I do.
It could
we
be
don't
an
need to talk
amazing
about
piece of software.
the KF console
hardware.
because we have way better technology to talk about.
True.
Ah, yes, of course.
Yes.
Our first sponsorship
The
from
bidets.
Fleshlight. What? Oh, no. What?
Go to adamandeve.com/rockvic. 15% off your first purchase over $100. Just saying.
That's not bad.
Is that facts?
Is that no? It's not facts. Could you imagine if a random fucking shit poster on Twitter, was sponsored by Adam and Eve?
I mean, weirder things have happened. It'd be kind of cool, actually. You should just see if they'll give you a fucking affiliate link. You never know unless you try, right?
You know what? I should be like, hey, I have a podcast.
Yeah, we can get in contact with them later.
Yeah, because, I mean, a certain person we know breaks enough sex toys and needs new ones all the time that it would be probably beneficial.
But I guess we could start getting into this if you guys are down.
Always.
Get the conversation flowing. So we ended the last episode on a little like movie name drop kind of thing, talking about the book Trinity The Best Kept Secret by Jacques Vallée and Paola Harris, yet again. But this time we're actually talking about the book and not the events that lead up to the subject of the book. So for the last episode, I had like a whole script and shit wrote out, and I still have like another half of that to go off of. But as far as that, after that, it's mainly just free-flowing conversation.
Alright, lay it the fuck on us.
I'm excited.
Tell me all about the fucking... how the nukes told us, like, they beamed energy into our heads and made us manifest aliens with our radioactive brainwaves.
Yes. Well, prior to Roswell, there was a crash beforehand that happened 2 years before that. And it happened just 18 miles away from where the first nuke was tested. Just 3 weeks after the original test. So extremely quickly afterwards, there was this crash that happened.
A beacon to the heavens, letting them know that we've entered a new atomic age.
So there was 2 witnesses, a 9-year-old boy named Jose Padilla and a 7-year-old boy named Reme Baca. These 2 are both... They're very young, but you have to keep in mind that at the time, with everything going on and what they had to do as far as like their duties around the house, or in this case on the farm, because these kids lived out in farmland, they were very...
These are the 2 kids that found the RV in Breaking Bad, but instead of the meth RV, it's alien ships.
Exactly.
I've never seen Breaking Bad, but I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure that we don't get sidetracked, and I'm gonna jot that down so I can yell at you after the episode.
We're gonna definitely have to talk to you about that.
So what I'm saying is these 2 kids, for the time, are more mature for their age. So just keep that in mind, I guess. We're just gonna keep that in the back of our heads. So they were out on the farm. Out on the farm on the day. They were out in a truck Jose was driving. They were out looking for a pregnant calf, I believe. And while they're out driving around, they see this ship just crash. They see it hit like a control tower, and it just hits the ground hard as shit. It makes a turn in the ground as it landed. Like it said, like it carved out like the shape of an L in the ground.
That's tough to do.
And yeah.
Making a 90-degree turn in dirt like that.
Unless it hit a tree and ricochet.
Yeah, but if it's a perfect 90-degree
yeah,
angle,
but they're
like
out in the desert. There's no...
Yeah.
Is it perfect 90 degrees? Oh, it's in the desert.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
it
Roswell, New
hit
Mexico
a rock?
is not
No,
exactly known for its forests.
It hit a control tower.
It could have hit a rock.
Communications tower or something.
And then ricocheted off of that. See? Told you there was an explanation.
How does that carve something in the ground like that in the shape of an L?
It was already on the ground when it ricocheted.
No, it hit the tower first and then hit the ground. The boys saw it. They saw it hit the shit.
That's pretty crazy.
Like, they actually saw the crash.
You know what?
Minding your own business, and you're like, what the fuck is that? Oh my god!
I could not imagine if I'm sitting here on my fucking bed and turn and look out the window and there's just a fucking UFO skipping like a fucking stone across the yard. That'd be wild.
It would be pretty insane. And especially while you're so young. So eventually the boys go out and they discovered the long gouge in the earth. And at the end of the gouge lay a little gray avocado-shaped craft. That's what they said. They said it was shaped like an avocado.
An avocado.
Yes, a fresh avocado, if you will.
They are delicious.
A free avocado.
A fresh avocado. Delicious avocados. But not when they crash into the ground.
Avocado are fucking gross.
What the fuck are you talking about? They're delicious.
You're objectively
I am objectively right.
Avocados
gross. Are amazing. Look, you make guacamole out of them, which is even more amazing. But just by themselves,
guac is gross.
Guacamole is just
my god,
squished up avocado. You can't really call it.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, guacamole is disgusting.
Guacamole is amazing.
Because it's
Avocados
just avocado.
Are delicious.
Avocado is mushy as shit. If I wanted to eat like a fucking baby bird, I would have just been built by the CIA.
Avocado does not taste like a drone.
I didn't say it did. I said it tastes like fucking mush.
It's
like smoothie, but not supposed to be a fucking
you
smoothie.
have to season it just like with most things.
Ryan.
Salt and pepper.
You're fucking
No,
dumb.
It's delicious.
We don't.
You're wrong
I'm
about
not.
this. Continue
Listeners,
about avocado
listeners,
boat.
tell us in the comments below that avocado is delicious and the Dakotas are wrong. North and South Dakota are wrong.
I am
avocado is
taking
amazing.
neither side of this argument.
Continue telling us about avocado airboats.
Yes, the avocado airboat that crashed. All of the shrubs and like everything around the craft was just fucking burning, but the craft itself was not on fire.
Because they're always cold to the touch and shit.
I don't know if this one specifically was cold, because they don't go up and like touch it immediately. But
well, I would imagine so. Like every other story,
the shrubbery around it has combusted.
Interesting.
And they discover some shiny tinfoil-like metal that possessed some of like the memory properties as the metals from like the Roswell case.
That's interesting.
And this whole thing is just interesting because the crash, happened only 3 weeks after the first nuclear
test.
And it's just a really extreme.
What if, hear me out here, the nuke didn't signal aliens, and this wasn't an alien ship that fell, but it's actually just a bird that the CIA built and got gamma radiated like the Hulk?
That's why it looked like an avocado?
That's why it looks like an avocado. Because it's actually just a kiwi bird.
Gained
but
anti-gravity propulsion.
See, I thought you were going somewhere way more intriguing than that, and I thought you were going to say it was really the mole people and the nuke woke them up from their slumber.
What?
And so they popped up into the air.
Mole people aren't a thing.
What? Later on, we're going to do an episode on the
You can say a lot of things, but I'm not going to let you sit here and say that mole people are not real.
Right?
They are not a thing. This is the first I'm hearing of mole people.
Oh my god.
Listen, this story is not about mole people.
Right.
We're talking about aliens, all right?
We'll get back to mole people later.
We're on the alien episodes right now.
Okay. We got to stop getting sidetracked. You're right. Continue.
So all this happened around 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe. And they're thinking, it was an airplane that went down. Maybe somebody's hurt. They don't know. So that's the reason that they went to go check in the first place. In case anybody's wondering why these 2 children went to go see some crashed.
Are you fucking kidding me? I don't need a reason to understand why 2 kids would go look at something.
Yeah.
Some people.
If I saw a stick that looked kind of cool,
yeah,
I was like, I gotta go get that stick. I'm sure most people will agree that if they, as a kid, saw some kind of something fall from the sky, they're checking that shit out.
Exactly. I know I would be.
We could just be weird kids, Ryan. I don't know.
Well, so eventually, the kids approach the craft, and at this point, they're a few hundred yards away, I think is what they said. And Jose takes out his binoculars, and he has the binoculars so he could spot certain brandings on cows, so like he could identify which ones were, part of his families and stuff.
That makes sense.
Which is why he had binoculars. Extremely convenient for the time. So he looks through the binoculars.
Very convenient.
And he can see that there is a gaping hole in the side of the crash, or in the side of the ship. And he looks in through the hole, and what he can see is what he describes later as just 3 short 3-4 foot beings that kind of look like praying mantises. At least that's what their head was shaped like, is what he said. And they were just sliding across the floor of the ship, almost like they were willing themselves from one side to the other.
Like phasing through reality?
No, willing. Like they would just think themselves into that direction. Does that make sense?
Interesting. Yeah, like just sort of
kind of sick, TBH.
Pushing themselves along.
And so as he's looking, he feels an overwhelming sense of sorrow. And he feels like these things are just children. That's the impression that he's getting.
Children
And
like they are? They're like peers?
Are they children, or is it just because they're small?
I think it's just because they're small, but it's also because they're just fucking freaking out.
Got it.
And he said that they were making some like high-pitched sounds, and he said that the best way he could describe the sounds are like a rabbit when it's in pain, or the sound that comes out of a newborn baby when they cry, is what he said.
Interesting.
And as they approached the craft, they had images flash in their head. And that's when Reme said during the interview, he said, I didn't know what they were. I can remember what they are. I didn't know what they meant then, and I don't know what they mean now. They must have known we were there. Talking about the beings. And at the time, Jose wanted to actually go in the craft to like help them. But Reme was like, hey, maybe let's not fucking do that.
I mean,
so they just sat there and they just watched it. And I think overall the time they spent watching was like around 30 to 45 minutes of them just watching these things. And then they eventually, rode back to Jose's dad's place. Because it was getting late and, he knew that their parents were going to start worrying about him. And he was just telling his dad the story about like, hey, we just saw this fucking thing crash. And there was some shit in it.
Yeah, like you do.
And Jose's dad says that, it's probably the government's. We'll look into it in the next day or two. We should probably just stay away.
You know what? It's probably the government's is probably the most correct answer.
Maybe. I mean, you never know. I mean, it's either a giant CIA KGB drone or it's aliens. An avocado does not look like a weather balloon.
Absolutely not. And we'll get into...
No, this isn't the weather balloon.
We'll get into later why it's definitely...
This was before Roswell. Well, we already know it was definitely not. They're like, it's just a weather balloon, guys, but we're going to send 800,000 jets and tanks to go retrieve this weather balloon.
What the hell are you talking about? Hang on.
You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
They sent 100,000 tanks to go pick up the Roswell weather balloon.
100,000 tanks. That's
a
really high number.
Nah, that's true, bro. I swear.
Need half that.
I feel like that's more than we have in our arsenal.
A really heavy weather balloon.
It's not, man. You really think we don't have more than 100,000 tanks?
Maybe.
That's just foolhardy.
I think that we probably do have that many tanks.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Nah, we do.
Anyways,
continue.
Jose's dad goes to drive old Reme Baca back to his house, and he has a long talk with Reme's mother about what the boys had saw, and Jose's father was pretty concerned about it because it might jeopardize his job because, wouldn't you guess it, Jose worked with the government. Jose's dad. I don't know why I keep saying just Jose.
Yeah, less than 10,000 M1 and M1A1 Abrams tanks have been made in total. So 100,000 tanks is definitely wrong.
Yeah.
I don't remember asking your opinion.
So anyways, Faustino, Jose's dad, got in contact with the local policeman. And on day 3, they were off to investigate the crash. They were led by Jose and Reme. And the police officer's name is Eddie Apodaca, I think. Eddie Apodaca. I think that's how it's pronounced. They walked towards the crash. They were up on a hill, I guess, and they were looking down onto the crash. But as they were looking down onto it, they couldn't actually see it. Not like it was obstructed, but like it was cloaked, almost.
Ooh, that's interesting. Like it had
they couldn't see it until they had moved a bit closer.
Mm-hmm.
You said what?
Nothing. I'm just paying attention.
Yeah. So eventually, Faustino and the policeman then proceeded to enter the craft from the hole that was mentioned before, and they didn't say what they saw, and they never told anybody, I guess. But what they did find was a change in attitude, because the whole time they were actually traveling to the craft, they were really making light of it. Like there's no way These kids are being legit. But upon coming out of the craft, they say, okay, here's the way it is. I want you guys to listen. This is very difficult. You're under oath. You don't tell anybody about this. Not your brother, not your cousin, not your mother, not your father. That's our business. We'll take care of that. And the reason for this
Jesus Christ,
is that
dude.
you can get in trouble. We want to keep you out of trouble. So the boys agreed, and they kept that oath of silence for decades. And
how interesting. So they were sort of manipulated into silence.
I don't know
by
if it was manipulated,
the
and I wouldn't say it was by the government, because the one dude was just a police officer, and the other guy just had a position in like a small government. I don't know the correct word I'm looking for. He wasn't somebody super important.
He wasn't he wasn't a G-man. He was just sort of like a guy who was in the local
something along the
government.
lines. And the whole time that the two men were actually in the craft, they were always visible to Reme and Jose. And when they came out, Reme was like, hey, where are the people that were inside the thing? But they were gone. There was no trace of them. And so on August 19th, a sergeant with the U.S. Army had entered the Padilla home and proceeded to talk to Faustino in Spanish, eventually just saying, hey, you guys got a crashed weather balloon back there, and we need permission to cut down your fence so we can go in there and get it. And Faustino's just like, hey man, why can't you just use the gate? why do you got to cut down the shit?
Yeah, right.
And that's when
That's a
when
good
the sergeant
question.
said, yeah, well, the gate isn't big enough for the equipment that we need to get in there.
Oh,
What equipment
yes.
do they need to get in there?
they need a
big
full-size
massive 18-wheeler.
fucking crane.
You know what? I'm starting to think that 100,000 tanks went in to get this avocado.
I told you it was true, man. Gotta start believing me.
The equipment they need to bring in is wider than the gate, is what he said.
And how wide was this gate?
I don't know how wide,
I know you said it was an
how wide.
18-wheeler.
Pretty wide.
but they had to
The cattle gates are pretty wide.
they had
so.
to pave like a whole new road into the thing.
They paved a whole new road across this man's pasture.
Yes.
Did he get paid for the loss of land?
I don't know, as I think he leases the land out to like the Bureau of Land Management or some shit, and so it's done through. I don't know what it is specifically. It wasn't said in the book.
Just another example of the government and the homeowners association fucking over small business. Got it.
Yeah, they had to.
Yeah, if it's BLM land that he's on, then yeah, they can basically.
They had
do
to
whatever
bring
they
in a
want.
whole road crew with like bulldozers and road pavers just to get the truck in to quote get that weather balloon out of there. Eventually, Faustino agreed
Lot of
and let
work
them
for
cut
a
down
weather
the
balloon.
fence. Yeah. And eventually, the sergeant says, "Keep an eye on the place and make sure nobody goes there because this is really important. We don't let anybody know about it. We don't want to cause trouble for anybody." And so try to keep an eye on it so nobody that hasn't got any business going there doesn't go there.
Why would? Yeah, see, that's really
Because it's a weather balloon.
something.
Anytime a government
Right,
official is like, hey, don't let anybody go over there. It's nothing. It's not a big deal. But don't let anybody go over there. Because if somebody does, nobody needs to be going over there. But it's not a big deal. Like, you can check it out, but don't go check it out.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah, so
that's
eventually they paved the road in, and they had a truck. They had a crane that had to, lift the whole thing up. I think it was estimated that the craft had to have weighed around, don't quote me on this, I could be completely wrong, like 6 or 7 tons?
That's a heavy fucking weather balloon.
that's a very dense weather balloon.
Also, since you gave it a number, listeners, absolutely quote him on that. And when somebody asks you where you got those numbers and figures, send them back to us. We'll double down. Even if we're
Absolutely.
wrong, we'll double down to help you guys look good.
Absolutely.
Always.
But the recovery wasn't like what you would see in the movies with like helicopters and people in suits or anything like that. It was just a tent and some young soldiers listening to Western music on the radio. In all, the recovery effort took days, and the whole time, Jose and Reme would go back and watch, because it's their land, and they can get away with it.
Of course. I mean, like I said, if a fucking avocado fell from space and it landed in my backyard, I'd want to look at it at least a couple times.
Yeah. True. I would want to watch exactly what they were doing with it.
Especially if they're making such a fucking hubbub over a weather balloon that weighs more than a fucking plane.
Yeah, and you could tell it was like the first time that the government was really dealing with this kind of thing, because the soldiers that were there really just didn't give a shit. Like, they were sent in to pick up the debris and all sorts of stuff, but they were seen like kicking some of it into a ditch and just trying to make it as easy as possible
It's
for them.
the equivalent of like kicking
yeah.
some of your toys under your bed so that you wouldn't have to put them up.
Yeah, or like at work when you could just sweep shit underneath the machines because who's gonna see it?
Hey, shut the fuck up. Don't disclose trade secrets.
Trade secrets.
Yes.
Avocados are drones of the KGB CIA.
Ryan, shut the fuck up. Dakota, tell the story.
Yeah. So, anyways, one of those soldiers eventually married one of Jose's cousins, and was talking with Faustino about it later as time went on, and said that he became more unconvinced of the weather balloon explanation
As time went on,
Yeah.
like, the more he's picking up pieces, he's looking at them like, this doesn't really look like any weather balloon I've seen, Billy Bob. And then his friend goes, you know what, Joey? I think you're right. This is a rather weird weather balloon. I don't know what kind of weather balloon has guns on it.
Well, hey, there was no talk about guns.
It's an avocado. Avocados don't
You
have
mean to
guns.
tell me that a spacefaring ship wouldn't have any kind of weaponry on it?
Hey, man, there has
Not
been
that you could see from
there's
the
been
outside.
reports of different shapes, different kind of models of UFOs. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, just a scout UFO.
Even a scouting ship has some kind of fucking weaponry,
Not always.
just in case.
Listen, man,
Alright,
we shouldn't
maybe
be
I'm
expected
wrong
to
here.
explain
I'm not.
These obviously beings that are way more intelligent than us.
Of course.
They've
How could I have been
developed
so
past the need
foolish?
for war. Why would they need weapons?
But how do you know that?
Because they're aliens.
I don't think anybody will.
They
ever
speak through
develop that
fucking-
need for
They
war.
fucking
That's
put
the
images-
dumbest shit.
They put
That's so
images in your
fucking
mind.
dumb. Everybody says that shit, and it's like, okay, but where's your proof? And they just link to some fucking 4chan fucking thread, and they're like, see? This fucking random bitch on the internet says that there's 12 alien races, and they're all here so that we can do, and fucking there's an ancient war going on, but they're not wanting to attack anybody,
There
so they
is a
can't actually
war.
interfere.
It's the Galactic Federation.
Do you
Yeah,
understand?
it's Mass Effect. It's
You
the
need to
Alliance.
understand that they're already here.
You're fucking dumb. No,
They're
you
already
can't
here.
tell me
So you
that
don't think
fucking War of the Worlds tripods, and they're like,
I never said tripods.
no, we don't need to war. We don't need to war, actually.
Well, there's always going to be war,
That's
but you
a
can hide
severely
weapons.
Americanized...
Especially if it's morphable metal.
They merge all the time.
Like if the metal is memory metal, you don't think they could hide their weapons and just be avocado shaped?
What the fuck is memory metal?
Bruh.
We just talked
Yes,
about it.
but how does that work? That doesn't make sense.
We talked about it in the Roswell thing. The dude beat the shit out of it with a hammer and it wouldn't lose its shape. And there was other stuff that you could like
but
fucking tear it like it was, foil. And then there was other shit where you could bend the fuck out of it and it would just go back to its shape.
Yeah. But none of that makes sense.
We're starting to discover some similar things that we've seen. But if it's metals that we haven't seen before that are coming from the far reaches of space,
until I shake hands with a fucking alien, I refuse to accept that spacefaring creatures made it to this random ass fucking rock and haven't fucking Super Saiyan obliterated us.
Why would they need to, though?
Why not?
Why would they want to, though?
They're they're space gods. Do you ever walk by a fucking anthill and just kick it?
No, because I'm allergic to ants.
Well,
I don't take that risk. I don't take that
That's risk. Because, okay, maybe some aliens have human allergies. That wouldn't explain all of them.
They are simply smarter than you.
Incorrect. I watch Rick and Morty. My IQ is 207.
I watched Death Note.
I watched Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Which was fucking boring as shit.
That's because you're too stupid to understand it, but we'll move on from that.
Alright, look. Anyways, the recovery effort took a few days, and on the last day, they loaded the avocado onto the back of a truck, threw a tarp over it, and called it a day.
Ah, yes, a tarp.
Yes. A tarp. And on that night, Jose and Reme went off to look at it again, and that is when Jose climbed in. He just got into the craft.
Wait.
And he said that... I'm waiting.
I thought you said they loaded it up and left.
No. I said they called it a day.
Oh, okay. So they loaded it up and just left it there?
Yeah, they just left it on the
overnight. They've been cleaning this thing up for weeks at this point, right?
I think it was like maybe a week.
Yeah.
Okay. So days.
Yeah, it was just a couple days.
Yeah. Okay.
But Jose got in the craft. It was all cleaned out. There wasn't anything really there. He said that there was like a skylight kind of thing.
That's interesting.
There wasn't a way to get up to it, but you could tell that there was like a way to like look out of it.
Well, yeah, you look up.
Like, if that makes sense.
So
he's searching the craft for a souvenir, and eventually he finds just like a bracket or something, and he fucking yanks at the bracket really hard trying to pull it off, but he couldn't get it. So eventually he goes out of the craft and gets a crowbar off the truck. And then he goes back into the craft with the crowbar, and he yanks the bracket off, and he kept it. And he actually turned in the bracket to a Jacques Vallée, so they could do their like tests on it.
Yeah. What's it made of? Kryptonium?
And, see, here's the thing. They have not released the findings on some of these materials yet. They said that they're going to publish it soon. I actually just watched a different podcast with him on it, and he talked about this whole thing.
Oh my god.
Interesting.
And he said that he's not going to get into the metallurgy of everything just yet because he wants to get everything peer-reviewed, so he's going to send all the samples off to other places and get them tested.
This motherfucker over here, like, I want to make sure we do the scientific method properly. I don't... Fuck you. Science isn't real.
We know you're not a fan of science from the last episode.
So anyways, while Jose's in the craft, he said he saw like yellow pins and silvery colored strands of what looked like angel hair. I could only assume that meant like fiber optics.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Sounds similar, yeah.
Yeah, because that would be the best, at least as far as we know now. That's by far the best way to transmit data.
Oh my gosh, you mean an alien ship crashed, and then we gathered technology and reverse engineered, and then all of a sudden we have a technological boom?
See, someone sounds like he's getting on board with the aliens.
No, that's dumb.
I'm not
it's
saying
just
that.
technology is an exponential fucking... It's a snowball. We didn't get it from aliens.
Exponential curve.
It just builds on itself until we reach the singularity where it advances too quickly for us to even have a guess as to what happens tomorrow.
Listen, the evolutionary endpoint is an all-machine society.
No, it's actually crab. I'm not joking. I think there was like I forget how many.
I saw that video. Why everything evolves.
Yeah, like there's been 6 or 7 individual instances of things evolving into this exact same crab, and it's like, is this what peak performance looks like?
I don't think so.
Do we all just become crab?
But we'll find out in like a billion years. If the heat death of the universe doesn't come first.
You think the heat death is going to happen in a billion years? Really? No.
No. Longer than
Jeez. At least 1 billion and 2 years. Jesus.
Exactly. My heat death of the universe dollars are on 1 billion and 1 years, but 1 billion and 2 years is okay.
Yeah, I'm just here for the simulation.
Oh my fucking god, no. We're not in a simulation.
If you're in it for the simulation, then we're already in a simulation.
Yeah, I know.
If you believe in the possibility of a simulation, then we're already
until we have...
I have absolutely no doubt in my mind.
Until we have technology comparable of creating a simulation that is as complex as it is for us.
And at that point, we become gods, deities. And
we're not... No! No!
Worships
it's
theism.
Not the same fucking thing! It's not theism to believe in the fucking simulation theory. That's dumb. It's not fucking theism, Ryan. You're not over here worshipping the creators just because you think that you're in a simulation.
Sometimes. It just depends. It depends.
Dakota, do you worship the creators like a god? Do you worship the creators like a god?
Wait, hang on, huh?
Do you worship the creators of the simulation like they are a god?
Only if they give me superpowers.
Do you have superpowers?
Maybe.
Nope.
See,
good enough.
Just say the same
good
thing.
Enough.
We're not sure what he got from getting his appendix taken out.
The only thing he got from getting his appendix removed is fucking medical debt because America.
Okay, that's too real. You can find his GoFundMe.
Oh man.
Damn.
So that's that's pretty much the whole story, because after that, they didn't really talk about it. They talked about it like with each other every now and then throughout the years, but as time went on, they went and did their own things in life. Jose became like a police officer, and Reme did whatever he did, and eventually he died back in like 2018, I think, or 2014, something along the lines. Jose is still alive.
Does he have a Twitter?
That's good.
I have no idea if he has a Twitter. He does have a photographic memory, though, if you want to take any of that into account for this whole thing.
Interesting. How did they test that? Like, that's been independently verified?
I don't know if it was... I mean, he just said he has a really good memory, and he's like 80 years old at this point, and he still remembers everything pretty clearly.
Okay, but he could just be making it up. He's 80 years old. It could be dementia.
Well, the whole reason that he came forward with the story was because one of their like grandkids or something ended up doing like a genealogy search, and it led them back to each other. And so upon meeting, they recounted the story, and they both remembered it exactly the same.
I see. I see.
That's interesting.
Intriguing.
I see, says the blind man as he pees in the wind.
I'm getting really tired of your fucking wisdom. Alright? I had to put up with it for 5 hours earlier today.
You can't tell me I wasn't dropping bombs in that campaign.
He's very, very wise.
I just could not roll to save my life.
Dude, the only time you had a good roll was when you were trying not to get molested. And it still wasn't good enough.
Like an interesting thing.
Hey man, my survival checks are pretty decent.
Oh, Jesus. Ryan, Dakota, and I are doing a D&D campaign.
Oh.
And
that sounds so fun.
We had a fucking blast. 5 hours went by in what felt like one.
It did go by really quickly.
It was great. I had an amazing time with it. But enough about D&D. We're not Critical Role. Back to the space boat avocado. My only question is, why did they not wait to release everything all at once? You said that new evidence came to light, so they delayed the book to fix it. Why didn't they just wait until they got the stuff back from the meddlers?
I think they really wanted to get the book out, and for the most part, most of it was written. I know I had the reason as to why it was delayed in the first place. I do not remember what the reason is now. Also, I just sent a picture in the chat. That's the bracket that they pulled off of, or that they pulled out of.
That just looks like a regular ass bracket.
Yeah, it looks like.
Yeah,
it looks like normal metal, but I mean, the metals here are found fucking everywhere else, so.
Yeah, that's really.
You really can't expect something else like that.
Yeah, that's just some basic ass.
Some of the other pieces they found, they had used to like repair a windmill at one point, and that windmill is still going strong today. I think they used one of the.
Ryan, what is this you sent in the chat? Armed fighter jets deployed off Hawaii over the weekend.
Yeah.
What is this?
They deployed some armed fighter jets to go to a situation, an unspecified situation. They responded to an unspecified situation off the coast of Hawaii at the FAA's request, and then the Air Force's official statement was that the situation was resolved.
So this is nothing.
Huh.
Or it's aliens.
This is literal. There's nothing to go on here.
They responded to an unspecified situation, and they resolved the situation.
Unspecified.
Did you read the situation? Oh wait, it says the last time.
There's nothing here. There is nothing here of any like. This is like a fucking pork chop with no pork and all fucking bone. There's nothing to actually bite into here, Ryan.
I don't know. I think it's interesting that they got called out.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting, but you can't just immediately say that.
The fucking aliens boy is telling you to calm down.
That's fair. Maybe they were investigating a weather balloon.
Listen, we know what it really is.
Oh my fucking
God.
Nazis. Exactly.
You had me, like, on the edge of my seat. I was intrigued. I was like, are we gonna loop back around to the bird drones? What's gonna happen here? And you just fucking... it's actually Wolfenstein 3D? No.
Hey, they had a sweet moon base. That's
oh my fuck, shut the fuck up. Nazis aren't on the moon. They're not in the center of the earth. Shit's fucking dumb.
With the mole people.
No. Okay. No. Mole people aren't a fucking thing. Lies.
We're gonna do an episode on mole people now. Definitely.
What are mole people? Is it just cave people?
I mean, yeah.
Because there was those kids that came out of a fucking cave in, like, South America somewhere.
Yo, if you can find what that was, because I, like, remember something like that, but I can never find what it was.
I only remember it vaguely.
I remember hearing some story about some people.
Yeah, I'm with you. I only remember it in passing.
I remember hearing a story about some people that were, like, in a cave, and they saw some other people in a cave that just, like, walked out, and they were like, huh, those things are not human.
Yeah, they had, like, adapted to underground.
I have no idea. Well, it was like The Descent.
Yeah.
Maybe they speak through echolocation.
No, the thing... No, that's not what I'm talking about. These kids came out of the cave, and they were, like, green. But they were clearly people.
Oh, like that episode of the Chilluminati podcast with the green kids.
That may have been where I heard about this from. I don't remember.
I know exactly what
But they, like...
about. Yeah,
they died from oxygen or something.
No, they crawled out of a hole. That's what it was.
I'm a Google green kids crawled out a hole.
They didn't come out of a cave. They came out of a hole, yeah.
Google did not tell me. Oh, green children of Woolpit.
Oh, that sounds promising.
In Suffolk, England. Two children of unusual skin color reportedly appeared in the village of Woolpit in Suffolk, England, sometime in the 12th century. Yada yada yada. Spoke in an unknown language and would only eat raw broad beans. Eventually, they learned to eat other food and lost their green color, but the boy was sickly and died soon after he and his sister were baptized. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Yep.
That's fucking weird. Granted,
weird.
This was in the
Where did they
12th
come
century,
from?
so who knows how true any of this is? Because fucking 1100s, yo. Come on.
Well, how do we feel? How do we feel about this story? About these two kids? What are you guys' thoughts? You think this actually happened?
The Woolpit kids? Or the...
No.
No, the kid... No. Jose and Reme.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I think a version of it definitely happened.
I have every reason
My
to
thing
believe the story.
is, I was going to have a problem with how they just, like, the military just didn't give a fuck. But like you said, this is the first fucking time that they've had to deal with aliens, quote unquote.
Well, it was also a bunch of young soldiers, you know.
Yeah,
at the
they
time.
just cracking
Just
open
drafting
cold
anybody,
ones,
right?
listening to fucking Johnny Cash. Shit was kosher. Uh,
And they knew about the soldiers all the time because they would go to like the restaurant or whatever that was like really close, some diner. Like Owl
is this
Cafe, I
the
think it
same
was. It was
cafe
really close to
that
it.
like
the same
fucking
diner.
Yeah.
all of those guys
Yeah.
chilled at? Huh.
Mhm.
This diner got a lot of fucking business after
Alamogordo, White
nukes, man.
Sands people. Hey, you gotta be hungry after you nuke something.
I wonder, is the diner still open?
I think so.
Oh, road trip.
Oppenheimer Diner. I assume Googling that.
Is that what they renamed it?
No.
Listen, I
That's
have
not what they
every
renamed
reason
it.
to believe it. I'm pretty sure.
The
it's
Owl
called the
Cafe?
Owl Cafe.
You know what else has an owl?
Yeah.
Twin Peaks. The owls are not what they seem.
The Owl Cafe is no.
There's
There's one in Albuquerque,
Owl Man.
but the Owl God
Yeah,
in
Mexico.
California.
Oh,
Huh? I'm
Olmec,
just saying. Apparently, a lot of things like owls.
right. That's his name, Olmec.
What? Olmec?
What was Pleasant?
Yeah.
Pleasant Grove.
Yeah.
thing? No, not Pleasant Grove. What
Pretty
was it?
sure.
Is it Pleasant Grove? The thing
No,
that the
Pleasant
owl
Grove
shows?
is a fucking city here in Alabama.
Oh, you're right.
Owl, the owl god. Molech, the owl god?
Molech.
Molech,
That
that's it.
sounds correct. Molech, the owl god.
Bohemian Grove.
What the fuck is that place called? It was something.
There we
something-
go.
Bohemian
Jesus.
Grove, that's
All
it.
of us got super fucking silent. Like, the past 15 seconds are
We were-
not
yeah,
going to be
we were
interesting.
Trying to think of. It's like we were trying to think of what the fuck it was.
Yeah, Bohemian
We
Grove.
were all like,
That's the place where
What
all the
was that?
fucking...
Research about activate.
That's the place where all the elites go to eat adrenochrome.
Yeah.
What
and
do you think
children.
adrenochrome is, dude?
Oh.
Anyway,
I didn't expect it.
we should go here too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not even sneak in, just walk through. Act like we're supposed to be there. If we put on suits, they'll probably accept us.
Exactly.
To be like, oh, it's the people from the Unredactable Podcast.
We should get some shirts then
I've got
to wear under our suits.
Of course,
I've got a sick ass fucking cowboy hat on the way.
There you go.
I'm just saying. I get a suit, put the hat on. You know me. I'm a charismatic guy. I can talk my way in and out of anything I want. We walk up, I'd be like, hey, how do you do? I'm here for the, that good, monsieur. And they'll be like, oh, yes, please come in. We have all of the adrenochrome you would ever need, Mr. Trump. And I'll be like, I have huge hands.
Did you get a bad toupee? Is that how you're gonna be described?
Yeah.
Well, he's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm wearing my
his
cowboy
Got
hat.
it. Got it.
No, I guess I'd be a better Ronald Reagan than what I...
Yeah, probably a better Reagan than a Trump.
I would simply go cosplaying as Sasuke.
Dakota?
Uchiha.
Would you do a Naruto run?
Dakota. I need you.
Yes.
I need you
I
to
would do
not.
that. Mhm.
No.
doing it.
You should
I'm
definitely do that.
refusing you to I'm not allowing you to do that. Because I'm not gonna be walking up
100%
in
you
there
should do that.
with my sick ass cowboy hat. And you fucking Naruto running next to me like this is the fucking Area 51 raid.
But I'll be looking like Sasuke, so it'll be normal.
Exactly.
I doubt that they get very many Naruto cosplayers at Bohemian Grove, dude. I really fucking doubt it. I do know that. In fact, I can confirm that. Because my best friend told me. You might have heard of him.
Okay.
Yeah, his name's Jeffrey.
Did Jeffrey not kill himself?
Correct. My best friend Jeff, he did not commit suicide. Confirmed.
Got it.
I think I believe you.
Best friend and all. You can trust me.
He was moitered in cold blood.
He committed suicide by shooting himself in the back of the head at a downward angle with his hands tied in front of him, and then hung himself.
Are you talking about Jeffrey again, or are you talking about Kurt Cobain now?
Kurt Cobain was fucking shooted, dead ass.
Yeah, he also did not kill
He
himself.
did not kill himself at all. That man got fucking murked.
He did. And
He
that's
did
sad.
get gotten by...
No, I don't think she did it. Like, not personally.
Not like by her own hand, yeah, but she's the one who set it.
Oh,
up,
absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
Are we just
100%.
is
'Cause he was
this
getting
what
clean.
is this what we're doing now that we finished talking about Jose? We're just going to talk about our theories on who actually committed not alive.
Well, I mean, unless you guys have anything else you want to say about this
Oh,
UFO case, I honestly think it's extremely compelling.
I think it's very
Putting
compelling.
aside
a lot of
my
things are
inherent
compelling.
bias, maybe the story it was intriguing. Like I liked listening to it.
I will admit, I really fucked up in the sense that I was just kind of bouncing all over the place. I'm sure you guys
It
know
was a
this.
little hard to follow.
So there was some information that was missed. Like there was a storm that was going on at the time, which they think is why
Why
the
it crashed.
UFO crashed.
Was there a
They
lot
think,
of
Motherfucker.
some lightning
Yeah,
had
lightning.
struck it?
You mean to tell me
And
that
might
an
have grounded
alien
it?
spaceship
That
can't
was
handle
one
a
of the
little bit
theories.
of fucking plasma?
Hey, a weather balloon certainly can't, so you never know.
You mean to tell me that a weather balloon weighs 8 tons?
Hang on. I'm just saying. You also got to think about like all the radiation that's there in the ground or in the atmosphere at the time. 3 weeks after this test, that might have
Was
had
this
something
a
to do with it.
ground nuke test or was this an air nuke test? Then there wasn't that much in the air.
Well,
Well, if the UFO is flying low,
relative to what? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there probably
Listen,
is a
I don't
shit
know how
ton
it
still in
works.
the air, but significantly less than if it was an air detonation.
True.
on top of the fact that it wasn't like 100% perfect chain reaction, like there was still a lot of like plutonium and shit. just on
Oh
the
shit, I
ground.
forgot about that. I forgot it didn't fucking work.
It halfway worked, but yeah, only halfway.
Oh shit.
But the storm thing is interesting because that means all of those shrubs and bushes and stuff had to have been wet, and they were still just combusted.
Interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. So some weird atmospheric thing was taking place, whether or not that had to
Also,
do with the.
They went to the crash site, and by they I mean Paola Harris and I think Jacques went out there at one point himself. I could be wrong, but I know Paola Harris went out there herself. She went out there a couple times. The first time she went out there, it was just like the regular ground, I guess, because the government had used the bulldozers and shit to get rid of the huge gouge.
Interesting.
And then they went back a couple years later, and there was just poisonous plants growing where the craft essentially had just been sitting, and they think that those were added after the fact by somebody else to keep people away from it.
Somebody planted this poison oak here. The bastards.
Like, it was invasive. Like it wasn't the kind of shit you normally see in the area. And the only place it was at was right there.
Now that really makes your cranium itch.
And they've got like pictures of the plants and stuff that were there. All of that's in the book.
I have the book.
I still recommend getting the book.
I had it delivered like the day after we recorded the first episode. Because you had...
Have you cracked it open?
No. Dakota told me not to read it because he wanted to be the one to like deliver the story and shit. So if we're done,
yep,
I'll fucking read it now.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I still left out a decent amount of information, so there's still
hell yeah,
you can get from it, obviously.
Yeah, it's just over there sitting on my fucking dresser, right next to my contacts, my gun, and my tea. Yes, I have a very southern dresser, I'm realizing. Aliens, gun,
just
tea.
Got, like, a thing. You got aliens, gun, and just a thing of sugar.
It's not a thing of sugar, you fucking troglodyte bitch. I will manhandle your fucking soul, Ryan. I will obliterate every molecule of your being if you insult sweet tea again. I will become an alien so that I can have telepathic abilities to vibrate your atoms into non-existence. I will send your Higgs boson through your fucking ass. I don't give a shit. You a bitch.
I'm not saying it doesn't necessarily taste good, although I don't like things too sweet, so it probably doesn't taste
this
good.
shit's fucking delicious. Goddamn right. 2 cups a gallon, baby.
I need that shit.
No,
like
not that. Not quite that bad.
No.
2 cups a gallon is good.
That's so much sugar.
No, it's not that bad. You put 2 cups a gallon, and when you're boiling your tea, you bring it to a boil and take it off the eye.
Okay.
Because you don't want it to boil, because as it's boiling, it'll burn it and it'll taste like shit. You just want it hot enough to bring it out. You'll turn the eye off, set it onto another eye so that it's still hot, but it's not getting more heat coming into it. And you'll wait for it to cool down to room temperature. And then you mix it in to your sugar, and you fill up the rest of the jug with some cold water. And if you're a fucking troglodyte, you put ice cubes in it. I drink that shit when it's still warm.
That actually sounds better.
Because I'm not a fucking...
yeah, I also prefer ice cubes.
You're
personally. I like iced tea sometimes. It just depends.
Both of you are incorrect. It waters it down. It's like putting ice cubes in your Coke.
I didn't it's already say...
water.
Yeah, but it's not as strong.
That I put ice cubes in my tea to ice it. I just said I like iced tea.
I just drink it fast enough so
I put the tea in the refrigerator after it cools down to room temperature.
No. After I pour my oh shit.
Oh shit! What?
You can't just say that and then fucking opened my third eye, Dakota. Holy fuck! Now that's a big brain play, my dude. God damn, that stopped me in my fucking tracks. You fucking right.
We gotta replace your appendix with something.
Alright. After I pour my first glass, it goes in the fridge.
Okay. Yeah, see, I'm with you there.
Because I'll 100%. Drink my first glass freshly made.
I will give you the benefit of the doubt and say that one day when I visit, you can treat me to some real, actual Southern
I do want you to know I'm not a tea snob. Alright, I fucking drink Lipton. It's cheap shit.
That's okay.
It's fucking garbage. Like, it's not good tea if you're a fucking fancy bitch. My sister drinks that good shit. I'm over here, I'm fine with the cheap shit. Like, I guess I'm not a connoisseur, but
A connoisseur.
a connoisseur, but still pretty fucking good if you make it right. Like, it's...
And that's what I'm willing to try, because I've never had true, authentic, actual Southern sweet tea.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I'm...
It's honestly
it really
a
is.
case-by-case thing.
My grandparents, their fucking sweet tea is ass. I don't know how they make it, but that shit is dark as fuck. Like, it should be strong, but it tastes like pure fucking water.
That's interesting.
I don't know what they do. I'm fairly certain they just put food coloring in it. Because my
Oh, God.
Actually, that might be it. Because my granddad's diabetic. So...
Alright, look, we are getting way off track.
That's the whole point, dude. We're not professionals.
So
listen, we have just over an hour worth recorded. I think we could call it quits here.
I think we're good. Yeah. This was good. This is interesting to hear the rest of that story. And I definitely, as the sort of resident skeptic, if you will, I definitely believe that something happened and that those boys believe what they saw happened. Now, whether it really is that or not is to be determined. But there's definitely something there to it.
Also, just remembered, thinking back to that podcast I watched with the author of the book, he had mentioned that Reme Baca had got a position in the government at some point.
Oh.
And had asked to see the file for that crash, and he got it. So there is documented information somewhere out there.
That's pretty sweet.
Okay. Also, Ryan, when it comes to aliens, you might be less of a skeptic than I am. Like, I want to believe, but I'm also like, why would they fucking care? And so much of the lore is like some fucking fantasy realm shit.
Well, but that's where I'm the skeptic, right? Because I tend to believe that there's the statistical improbability that there's not something else out there is really, really high. But I think as humans, we tend to create a narrative about things to fit with our, tiny little box.
You hear that, Dakota? You hear that? There's no such thing as tall whites, you weird motherfucker.
But the Giants,
listen,
Dakota?
You guys can say whatever you want. I wholeheartedly believe that there is something out there, whether or not it's aliens or something interdimensional or something from the future or something that's just locked away on Earth somewhere in the seas.
Actually, I believe that.
Out there.
I believe
it's
that.
Not human.
Octopi?
I 100% believe they are here. I have no reason in my mind to believe that they
octopuses
are
the demons. On God.
Octopi have 3 hearts.
See? That's not fucking normal.
And each of their arms operate as their own brain.
Octopuses are not okay. It's evil. Also, it's not octopuses, and it's not octopi either, because octopi would imply that it has a Latin origin, but octopus is derived from a...
I could have sworn octopuses.
It's more correct than octopi, just because it's Greek. But because it is of Greek origin, it is technically completely more 100% correct to refer to more than one octopus as octopodes.
Octopodes.
Shut the fuck up, Jake.
I believe that it might be octopods.
I think you can stop talking.
Is that what you're looking
No, it's octopodes. Like, that's just true. I learned that the other day. No, that's correct. I swear.
Yeah, you can suck on my testicles.
That's also correct.
God damn it.
I've never said this to anyone.
I'm
but
not
your opinion
wrong.
is wrong.
I mean, you're pretty wrong.
What's next? You gonna tell me that
Mongooses?
really
No.
Mongopodes?
Mongoose.
Oh. See
First of all,
this?
it's mongooses.
From Greek octopoda. So plural would be octopodes. Dumb ho? I'm correct. Since I am correct, that's where we're gonna end it. Everybody.
Alrighty, episode 2. Let's go. Do we record episode 3 this Saturday?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Totally not against it.
As long as
I don't know
nobody
who's
dies.
gonna be speaking next?
Yeah, as long as there's no government intervention this time, we can.
I don't know who will be presenting their subject matter next. It will not be me. I will be partaking in the listening next time.
Do you have something ready,
So
Dakota?
somebody better come
Or
with
do you
some
want me
good
to get
shit.
something ready?
Ryan?
That's you guys. We can go ahead and we'll end this here. We can find that out.
Alright, yeah. Thank everybody for listening to the second episode of the Unredactable Podcast, where there have been multiple instances of us being attempted to be silenced. I'm sure everybody had a blast listening to this episode as much as we enjoyed listening to Dakota tell us about airboat fucking avocados, and me explaining that octopodes is the technical correct pronunciation of the plural form of octopus. Love you guys.
You're lucky you're doing the outro, otherwise I'd be talking all over you that entire time.
I love you guys. Have a beautiful night, and we'll see you next time.